standing on the promenade on the first night at sea. I can see the signal fires along the coast of Morocco, a welcoming committee of flickering electric lights strung from Essaouira to Agadir. It's all still a stinking mess. 100 years later, I'm still so hungry. What would fill me? Nothing less than a leap at you into heaven, springing off a diving board like Kamensky's plane. Roger, over and out. Come, we'll have a chat. I'll be devoured by your words. Behind a landmass of skeletons, the ice floes creep. Long lines of leopards in the snow. It's time to go. To keep the logs keep burning in a hailstorm, the corpse of a bat in the night stills, the windowsills are dirty, and hope trembles on the legs of a dying, praying mantis. Solstice, leave me now like this with the sun bleeding, passing Spanish hearts in my hands, the soft white flesh of a tender neck, even to the end I had you, to the maenads of fame, tearing you to pieces in the glow of television set in Florida, to what's buried in Lowell's Edson Cemetery, Tijan. Nothing's buried there. The dust of your sacred, bleeding Catholic heart, with that of the Holy Ghost and certain mad and driven saints, has been placed among the stars. I had nothing, but I had a great t-shirt, and I ironed on black velvet letters, KEROUAC. Thank you very much.
Love Patti Smith, all the conglomerations of tendencies that make up this person, this artist, this rock star, this memoirist, this mom, this neighbor, Patti Smith with her polyvalent gifts and talents and shyness. She is one of my girlfriend heroes for her powerful and memorable lyrics, her poetry, and her kinetic performance, her inestimable wit, her innate down-home, no-nonsense wisdom about flossing teeth or counseling me about hair dye. She is a local treasure and a national treasure and a National Book Treasure Award treasure. And a bestseller treasure and a Hall of Fame treasure and an international beyond measure treasure, as she is newly minted the commander of the Ordre des Arts et des Lettres in France, treasure, and all this brings to us immense pleasure.
Well, the first poem that I read that night, I wrote when I was 20 years old, and I'd like to start this evening with that very first poem. Jesus died for somebody's sins, but not mine. Melting in a pot of thieves, wild card up my sleeve, thick heart of stone, my sins my own. I engrave my own palm's sweet black X. Adam placed no hex on me. I embrace Eve and take full responsibility for every pocket I have picked, mean and slick, for every Johnny Ace song I bawled to, long before the church made it neat and right. So Christ, I'm giving you the goodbye. I'm firing you tonight. I can make my own light shine, and darkness too is equally fine. You got strung up for my brother, but for me, I draw the line. You died for somebody's sins, but not mine. Have you seen Dylan's dog, it got wings, it can fly. If you speak of it to him, it's the only time Dylan can't look you in the eye. Have you held Dylan's snake? It rattles like a toy. It sleeps in the grass. It coils in his hand. It hums and it strikes out when Dylan cries out, when Dylan cries out. Have you pressed to your face Dylan's bird, Dylan's bird? It lies on Dylan's hip. It trembles inside of him. It drops upon the ground. It rolls with Dylan round. It's the only one who comes when Dylan comes. Have you seen Dylan's dog? It got wings, it can fly. When it lands like a clown, he's the only thing allowed to look Dylan in the eye.
I need someone to tell me where or where, but things I must believe, not wears it on its sleeve. A morning that it's time to be prepared. I owe so much to someone, I've watched her teardrops fall, like wings that melted reaching for the sun. I want her to be near, to clarify the danger. I didn't come this far to die with strangers. I can't explain exactly what I'm saying, but you're the only reason I still care.
We just had the quarrel that sent you away. I was looking for you, but you were gone. Call you on the phone, there was no answer. You never returned. You knew what I mean. I went looking for you, but you were gone. Down by the ocean, it was so dismal. Women all standing, we shunk on the faces. Sad description, oh, I was looking for you. Everyone was singing, girl was washed up on Redondo Beach, and everyone was so sad. I went looking for you, but you were gone. Pretty little girl, everyone cried. She was the victim of sweet suicide. I went looking for you, but you were gone. Down by the ocean, it was so dismal. Women all standing, we shook on their faces. Sad description, Laura was looking for you. One drizzly afternoon, I had a hankering for one of those cheese and lettuce sandwiches. I went through our belongings and found exactly 55 cents. I slipped on my gray trench coat and Mayakovsky cap, and I headed to the automat. I got my tray and slipped in my coins, but the window wouldn't open. I tried again without luck, and then I noticed the price had gone up to 65 cents. I was disappointed, to say the least, when I heard a voice say, "Can I help?" I turned around, and it was Ginsberg. We had never met, but there was no mistaking the face of one of our great poets and activists. I looked into those intense dark eyes, punctuated by his dark curly beard and I just nodded. Alan added the extra dime and also stood me for a cup of coffee. I wordlessly followed him to his table, and then I plowed into the sandwich. Alan introduced himself. He was talking about Walt Whitman, and I mentioned I was raised near Camden, where Whitman was buried. When he leaned forward and looked at me intently, "Are you a girl?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. "Is that a problem?" He just laughed. "I'm sorry. I took you for a very pretty boy." I got the picture immediately. "Well, does that mean I gotta return the sandwich?" "Oh, no, enjoy it. It was my mistake." He told me he was writing a long elegy for Jack Kerouac, who had recently passed away. 3 days after Rimbaud's birthday, I said solemnly. I shook his hand, and we parted company. Sometime later, Alan became my good friend and teacher. We often reminisced about our first encounter, and he once asked how I would describe how we met. I would say you fed me when I was hungry, and he did. People say, beware, but I don't care. The words are just rules and regulations to me. Just kidding.